What's up YouTube, Impu here, and I'm guessing you clicked this video for one of three reasons. 1. You keep changing your sense and it never feels right. 2. You've just finished watching every controller settings video in Streamer to see what they run and you're still lost. Or 3. You think you know best and you want to prove yourself right by seeing what I'm all about. Regardless of which category you fall in, this video has something for you. Bird's eye view, I'll be covering boosts for controllers in the finals. I'll be primarily focused on look boosts, because I don't think zoom boosts are very helpful, and I'll give my opinion on that later in the video. Now a little bit about me to put my settings into context. I started playing on PS5 from Season 2 through 6. During that time period, I mostly played 435, 435, 40% ADS with a 220 horizontal look boost with 0 ramp up time, and all my other boosts were off. When I switched to PC controller, I stuck with that for a while, but over the past 2 months started playing with a 0 boost at 435, 435, 40% ADS. All of the gameplay you're seeing on the screen are with those new settings. Now you might be wondering, why did I turn off my boosts? I did this after looking for the weakest part of my gameplay. And I realized that the weakest part was my hip fire accuracy, my hip fire consistency. When firing from the hip, my aim was extremely choppy. And that's because my boosts would kick in, causing me to aim wildly. Now that I've turned off boosts, I feel much more consistent, and I compensate for my slow turning speed, those moments where you need to do a quick 180, by being very intentional with my positioning. However, with all this in mind, turning off look boosts is not the solution for everybody. So when do you turn off boosts? If you're a light who relies on beaming from off angles and taking engagement slowly, lower to no boosts is what's best for you. However, if you love weapons like the DB or the Matter, boosts can be helpful for quick turns and dash plays, especially if you find yourself playing in close quarters all the time. If you play medium, it can be very helpful to run boosts. Mediums need to be able to do a lot of interactions quickly. For example, they might get a defib, have to quickly flick their camera to defend the fib by throwing a goo, and then flick right back over to the player they just defibbed to get to healing them. Or they have to drop a pad and quickly flick their camera up to DMAT if you're doing a DMAT pad. But if you can't shoot straight from the hip with those boosts on, in my opinion, it's better to sacrifice some of this movement speed in order to be more consistent with your gunplay. If you're a light who plays beam weapons, in a situation like the one I just explained, you'll be off in a corner laying down fire. And a light in that position, if they have to turn around quickly, that means they've already made a mistake in their positioning. Heavies are in a similar situation to mediums. They have to do things quickly and all at once. Weapons like the SA-12 benefit from flick shots, which are easier to pull off with boosts or by switching your look curve from something like linear to something more exponential. However, if your heavy playstyle is more methodical like the Shack, turning off your boosts will help ensure that you can use your 20 bullets smoothly and effectively. All this is to say is that there's no right answer. You need to analyze your strengths, your weaknesses, and figure out your goals as a player. If you want to sit on a rooftop, like I already mentioned as a light, and get value while your team is brawling, this is my playstyle, turning off boosts could be the right play for you. If you find yourself having to turn around quickly, you can either reevaluate how you position yourself in fights, or use boosts to help even the playing field. Generally, I find that turning off boosts makes your aim more consistent with tracking weapons, the ARN, the FCAR, the Shack, even the Cerberus, not flick weapons like the DB, the Model, or the SA-12. You can also consider doing some sort of hybrid. Let's say you're loving the consistency from playing with no boosts, but you find that you can't react quick enough. Well, you could run boost, horizontal boost for example, that has a 0.5 second ramp up time. That way it won't interfere with your hipfire aim and it'll kick in when you need to turn around quickly. However, it is important to remember that boosts only take effect when you fully engage a stick. So be calm when you're up close and don't flick your stick fully. Only do so when you actually want the boost to kick in. A boost that kicks in while you're tracking from the hip will almost always negatively impact your aim. It's just hard to control while you're not scoped in and you're moving the fastest your character allows you to move. In short, turning off boosts will help your aim be more consistent, but will make close quarter situations where you are out of position more difficult. Turning them on will give you an edge up close and while using certain gadgets. Circling back to zoom boosts increase your camera speed while scoped in, This makes it so all of a sudden your sensitivity increases while tracking. This inconsistency will most likely throw off your aim. However, I could see them being useful for single shot, flick style weapons, but I haven't really experimented with that. Additionally, most pro controller players I've consulted swear that zoom boosts are just a bad idea. If you've watched this far, please consider dropping a sub, as I'm almost at 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours. So by doing so, I'll just get that much closer to getting this channel monetized. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want me to share more specifics about what I know regarding other controller settings, please let me know in the comments. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.